The foliage planes can be found under SASSE Library, Assets, Objects. You can drag and drop them into your scene. And there's a couple of things that actually a few that you want to know about this particular object. One is you can see a little bit of it happening right now. Right in there you can see some little black flickering. So this is a result of clipping. So for your viewport, you can go to View. I adjust that to 0.1 and you can see that goes away. Now you can see there's more little black flickering everywhere. So what you want to do is you want to raise the clip start. So make that number higher. It is usually 0.01. I like to just make it 0.1. And then if you are rendering an animation, you're going to want to do the same thing in your camera. Actually, it looks like it's already set to 0.1. So it's pretty good. But if you get flickering in a render, this is the setting that you need to change, the clip start of the camera, and that will eliminate any of that black flickering. Second thing you want to know about this is another one of those objects that does not want the shadow or looks better without the shadow. So the shadow's turned off currently. We turn it on, you can see a lot of these nasty little shadows from one to another. Really ruins that two-dimensional effect. So if you are using something like Goo Engine, you can turn that off per object. Otherwise, you can render this on a separate layer with shadows disabled, or different lights with shadows disabled. And the last thing that you need to know, we go to the modifiers panel here. We can align it to a particular camera. So as we move around, we can kind of see through this. If we, go at a certain angle, we can see these disappear. To a degree, we can adjust that by just how offset they are from one another, but we can also just tell it to align to this camera. And now when we're moving around, we can see we still have that effect. But if we go into our camera and we fly around our object, we can see it's always locked to that camera view. And there, we got a little bit of that clipping right in there. So what a perfect opportunity to go and adjust my camera setting. Let's try 0.5. There we go, it's gone. Okay, so back out of that camera, back into our modifiers tab. So here we have all the other things we can adjust. So seed will give us a different random distribution, different random foliage shape every time. Density is how many of those planes are going to be populating this area. And then size is the size of the individual planes. So do we have 2 meters? And obviously as we go smaller, then you would need to crank up the density to account for what you lose. But you can get a number of different types of effects here. Rotation offset will allow you to offset the rotation of individual planes. So if you have some that are clipping, you can adjust them that way. But in general, I avoid using that too much because you can sometimes adjust one plane into another and then you start getting some of those nasty clipping issues again. We can select, if you have a number of foliage materials which are available in the foliage tab here for you to choose from, you have a number of different leaf options that you can more or less just kind of drag and drop. So let's say we don't like that, we can drag and drop this and go for foliage 10, which gives us a different look. Let's see if there's something a little more striking. Let's see about foliage 9. And there we go, that's quite a bit different. So we can increase the size here. So there's a number of ways to get some very different looks just by switching out the material, and they are all tied to these same color attributes. So this will change the color regardless of which material you have plugged in. And same, the noise scale is set via attribute. So whether we have foliage 9, foliage 6, foliage 10, or any of the others, they will follow the settings of this panel here. We can also auto animate it, and that just causes them to move around a little bit like there's a wind. And we can click stepped motion, and that will animate them on, I think it's either 2s or 3s.